All right, today we're cracking open the playbook. We're talking about how those billion-dollar startups, yep, the unicorns, are actually built. And this isn't just guesswork. We're digging into some amazing research from the Jean-Baptiste Say Institute. They looked at some of the world's fastest-growing companies to figure out what really makes them tick. So let's get into it. I mean, it's the ultimate question, right? It's what drives entrepreneurs all over the world. But as you can probably guess, the answer isn't simple. It's not just about having a great idea or getting lucky. Turns out there's a strategy, a series of plays that these incredible companies follow. And there it is, the magic number, $1 billion. That's the valuation that gets you into the club, that officially defines a unicorn. It's more than just money. It's a symbol that you're fundamentally changing an industry. And this image, it just says it all, doesn't it? Hitting that billion-dollar mark is like launching a rocket. You need an incredible amount of power, pinpoint precision, and the perfect strategy just to defy the gravity of failure that pulls almost every other startup back down to earth. So, the secret to that rocket launch, the real key, it isn't just about growing fast. It's about getting through this one critical and honestly totally misunderstood phase in a company's life. It's called extrapolation. Okay, so what is extrapolation? Let's break it down. You've probably heard of product market fit, right? That's the holy grail, where you've proven people actually want what you're selling. But then what? There's this huge, dangerous gap between having a cool product people like and building a real, profitable business from it. That gap, that's extrapolation. And honestly, this is the startup graveyard. It's where so many promising companies just die. So you see, it's a four-step journey. You start with exploration, you find that product market fit, but then, and this is everything, you have to master step 3, extrapolation. That's the bridge that gets you to the promised land of profit market fit. If you want to win the game, you have to win at extrapolation. So how do they do it? What's the very first play from the unicorn playbook? Well, it all starts with seeing an opportunity that, for whatever reason, everybody else is missing. It's about finding the gap. This is such a classic, powerful move. Instead of trying to fight the giants head-on, these companies start by targeting a super specific customer or a little corner of the market that the big, established players have either totally overlooked or are just too slow to bother with. Take a look at Mono. This is brilliant. They saw that the massive do-it-yourself retail market was almost entirely offline. Why? Well, the big box stores had no real reason to rush online, because it would just mean spending money to win over their own customers again. And that created this perfect opening for a digital native company like Mono to just swoop right in. Or look at Squire. They didn't build another generic scheduling tool for every small business out there. No, they went deep. They focused like a laser on the very specific needs of one industry. Barbershops. They got the culture, they understood how renting chairs works, and they built a platform that felt like it was made just for them. And this isn't just about small niches. It's about seeing entire markets that the giants have written off. For instance, while big tech was pouring billions into making AI perfect for English, Uniphore went the other way. They focused on Indian languages and dialects, tapping into this huge, underserved market and building incredible expertise where there was basically zero competition. Okay, so you've found your gap. What's next? Well, the game is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. The next play is absolutely crucial. You have to defend that territory. You have to build a competitive moat. And yeah, think of a literal moat around a castle. It's your defense system. In business, a moat could be anything. Maybe it's superior tech that's almost impossible to copy, a brand that everyone loves and trusts, or exclusive partnerships that just lock everyone else out. It's your unique, defensible edge. Here's a perfect example of a tech moat. A robotics company called Exotech built their entire defense around this thing called the SkyPod system. Their robots don't just move side to side, they can go up and down. It's a three-dimensional approach to warehouse logistics that's just way more efficient than anything else out there. And that's the result. Their tech is so much better that it creates massive switching costs. I mean, once a company installs this whole system in their warehouse, are they really going to rip it all out to try a competitor? No way. That is a deep moat. Now, tech isn't the only way. A more traditional but just as powerful moat is good old-fashioned intellectual property. Take the software company Harnish. They've registered 11 different patents.
This legally protects their innovations, and it makes their tech incredibly expensive and time-consuming for anybody else to even think about copying.
But let's be real for a second. Finding a gap, building a moat, none of this comes cheap. The journey to a billion-dollar valuation is an incredibly expensive, cash-burning machine.
Just look at the funding for ManoMono. To scale up, build their tech, and expand across Europe, they needed a jaw-dropping amount of capital, over 725 million euros. Unicorns need a ton of fuel for that rocket ship.
So what does all that fuel buy you? One word: speed. The whole idea is to use that money to grow exponentially, to capture the entire market before your competitors even know what's happening. And it worked. By 2020, that investment pushed ManoMono to over 1.2 billion euros in sales. But there's always a catch, isn't there? Every single dollar of that growth has a cost. We call it the customer acquisition cost, or CAC. It's how much money you have to spend just to get one new customer. And for the business to actually work in the long run, the math has to make sense. Okay, let's look at the actual numbers for a company like the streaming platform Caffeine. To get one new user, it costs them $118. Now, over that user's entire lifetime with the platform, Caffeine only expects to make back $144. That margin is razor thin. It just shows how dangerous this whole growth at all costs game really is. And this leads to a tough reality for a lot of these companies. Profitability? It often gets thrown out the window for years in the name of growth and just dominating the market. A company like Popmenu, which works with restaurants, keeps operating at a loss, pouring every penny back into getting bigger. It's a massive, high-stakes bet that it'll all pay off down the road. So, let's wrap up the playbook. It's 3 key moves. Number 1, find a gap. Look for that underserved niche the big guys are ignoring. Number 2, build a moat. Create a unique, defensible advantage to protect that niche. And number 3, fund the growth. Get ready for a very expensive ride because you're going to need a lot of capital to scale before anyone can catch up. You know, this playbook is really a way of seeing the world. It's about finding those overlooked problems and building solid solutions. So now that you know the plays, you have to wonder, what's a gap that you see every day? What overlooked problem out there is just waiting for someone to come along with a billion-dollar solution?